Alrighty, so in your note packet, you will notice a chart here. The first column says the sum of interior angles of a triangle. This one you guys already know. Does anybody remember the sum of the interior angles in a triangle? What do those add to? 180, write that down. 180 degrees. We, excuse me, also studied before four-sided figures called quadrilaterals. What is the sum of four angles in a four-sided figure add up to? 360. Write that in your table. Those are the only ones we've studied, but today we're going to study some more. So we're going to get a different number for each one. Will you have to memorize those? No, if you know the formula that we learned today. So we'll kind of do it. We'll notice a pattern, and that pattern will help us not have to memorize so many things. So here's what I would like you to do. I would like you in your four-sided figure to put a dot at that top vertex. Vertex is like the corner or the pointy part, but vertex is the math term. Draw a line straight down to the other vertex. I've just created two triangles. I know that this triangle has a sum of 180 degrees. I know this triangle's angles have a sum of 180, which is why 180 and 180 is 360. Let's look at the pentagon. Draw a dot at the top vertex. Connect that to all of the other vertices. Well, you won't really connect it here because it's already connected. So just go to the next vertex. Draw a line. The next vertex. Draw a line. It's already connected to that one, so I don't need to draw a line there. You'll notice I have three triangles. This triangle has 180 degrees in the angles. This has 180 degrees, and this has 180. So even though we haven't studied pentagons, five-sided figures, the sum is going to be 180 plus 180 plus 180, or 180 times 3. Trevor, can you grab your calculator and tell me what number that would add up to? Thank you. Write down 540. Let's do this six-sided figure called hexagon. Same idea. Highlight any of the vertices. Let's just do the top one. Connect it to every vertex it's not connected to. I have four triangles. Again, each triangle has degrees of 180 total. Kaylee, 180 plus 180 plus 180 plus 180 is 720. You didn't add, you multiplied, right? Nice. We're not going to do this for every figure. Let's do it for one more. Let's do this seven-sided figure called heptagon. Heptagon. Savannah, 180. It's like I have 5 of those. 180 times 5, please. 900?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds about right. Have we noticed a pattern? Go ahead.
It adds 180 each time.
Each time adds 180. So you can go ahead in your table, just add 180 each time. Something else I'd like you to put in your table, kind of off to the side here. Let's put the number of sides. So triangle, of course, has 3 sides. Quadrilateral has 4. These are terms you have to know. Maybe not today, tomorrow, but for a quiz, if I say pentagon, you won't be able to raise your hand and say, how many sides does a pentagon have? You'll be required to know that. So pentagon 5, hexagon 6, heptagon 7, octagon, probably one you might already know, 8, nonagon, decagon is 10, 11gon, it doesn't get a fancy name, it's just 11gon, dodecagon is 12, 10 is decagon, 12 is dodecagon. If there's 13, 13gon, 14gon, 15gon, 20gon, 108gon. They don't have special names after that. These are the names that you'll need to know, just 1 through 12. Now, we noticed a pattern. The pattern was each time you're adding another triangle, which adds 180. What if on a quiz I say, what's the sum of all the angles in a nonagon? And you don't have a table to add 180, add 180. That's going to take a while, right? Do we want to draw a nonagon? I don't really want to because it probably wouldn't be very good. So let's kind of look through that pattern again. If I wanted to know the sum of all of these angles, and I'm on a quiz, so I don't have all of this, I don't have a table, I just have a simple statement. What is the sum of all the angles in a nonagon? And I have to come up with a number. Let's talk about triangles. Please, with your pencil, by this 4-sided figure, write down that we have 2 triangles. By the 5-sided figure, that created 3 triangles. This one had 4 triangles. This one had 5 triangles. Connor, how does the number of triangles relate to the number of sides it has?
Each side is number 5 triangle has 5 sides.
Okay, so this one has 5 triangles, but they're
I like 5 number 80s. Like 5, 1, 2, 3.
Similar to that, yeah. Haley, what do you think? How does this number of triangles relate to the number of sides it has? How does 5 relate to 7? True? Yeah.
It's 2 longer, like
right, it's 2 less.
Away.
Yeah, look at each one. There are 2 less triangles in number of sides. 5 minus 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. So I'd like you to write down by these pictures to the side anywhere, the number of sides minus 2 is how many triangles you'll have. The n number of sides minus 2 is how many triangles you'll have. So let's go back to the question. If on a quiz I say, what's the sum of the angles in a nonagon? You don't have to draw the nonagon and figure out how many triangles. Vinny, how many triangles will a 9-sided figure have? 7. And once you get that number 7, what would you do with it? If there were 7 triangles, what would you do with that number 7?
180 times 7.
Yeah, you would multiply it, good, by 180. Write that on your paper. And minus 2 times 180. Go ahead, type in 9 minus 2 times 180. See if it's what you get in your table. I got negative 351. Was that what we wrote in our table? No. Does anybody know what's slightly wrong with the formula I wrote? N minus 2 times 180? Yeah.
It turns 7 times 180.
Right. So you're on the right track. Corbin, what we're going to say?
-2
Right, I only did -2 times 180. I need to do n minus 2, get that number first. Multiply all of that by 180. Please try typing it again. Parentheses, 9 minus 2, parentheses, times 180. Is that number in our table for a nonagon? That is how you will do it on notes, homework, and a quiz. You won't draw the nonagon. You won't look at a table. You'll say, oh, if it's got 9 sides, I subtract 2 to get the triangles. And multiply by 180. All right, we're going to do a bit of flipping today. So sorry about that. Flip to the next page where there are boxes for formulas. We've just figured out this first formula. It says the sum of the interior angles. If I want the sum, I take n minus 2 in parentheses times 180. Okay, set your pencils down. Just watch, if you would, please. Alrighty. Jackson, in your table, this was 180. Oh, that's bad. 180. This sum was 360. Can you list off the next one so I could write them? Sorry, more flipping.
540.
Okay.
720. 900.
Thank you. Well, we could do the bottom row, but you'll get the gist of it. So I'm going to do a demonstration up here to show you something, and I'll let you know when I want you to write. Those are the sums of all of the angles. Let's say in this 5-sided figure here, I don't want all 5 added up. I just want this one. Anybody have a good idea on how I could find just that one instead of all 6 of them? I know all 6 add to 720. I just want one.
720 divided by 6.
Yep. If they're all the same, I just divide it into 6 equal parts and I get that angle. What about over here? I don't want all 7 added up. I just want this guy right here. How can I find just that one? 900 divided by 7. Would this be 540 divided by 5? Notice the pattern? There will sometimes be questions that say, what is the measure of one angle on the interior? Not the sum of all of them, just one. And this is sort of your pattern. You're going to find the sum, which we've already talked about how to find the sum. Then you will divide that by however many sides it has. Pick up your pencil if you would and go to your formulas. Underline 1 interior. If I just want 1, I take the sum, which we just figured out. I take the sum. Do I always divide it by 6? No, I divide it by the n, the number of sides it has. Please put a star by this word regular. This is important. Put a star by the word regular, and then you can just watch again. You don't need to draw this. These are both pentagons. They have 5 sides, so they're both pentagons. This one is considered a regular pentagon. Regular simply means all angles are alike and all sides are alike. Sometimes that's a lot to draw in a picture, so they don't draw it. They just tell you in words it's regular. This one is definitely not regular. All the angles are probably different, then the side lengths are different. Regardless, they're both called pentagons. All 5 angles add to 540. All 5 angles still add to 540. Will these all be the same? No. So over here, if I want one of them, take your earbuds out. I would take 540 divided by 5. I follow the formula. The sum divided by the number of sides. If I want this one, I can't take 540 divided by 5 equal angles because they're not equal. If I give you a problem like this, I will give you more information, like this one's 92, 112, 38, 99. In this case, you would do something like x plus 99 plus 38 plus 112 plus 92 equals 540. You following what I'm saying? There is a way to find one angle, but it doesn't always work the same way. If it's regular, you use this formula and it's pretty easy. Divide by 5 if there's 5 sides. This formula only works if it's regular. If you want one angle, that's okay. Just have to do it differently. You have to add them all up to this sum. That is why that word regular is so important. Alrighty, I'm going to do some more demonstrations so we can come up with more formulas. And I just need you guys to watch. Let's see. Jacob, you got a calculator, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Great. You're going to do some calculations for me, please. 180 divided by 3 equal parts is how much? 180 divided by 3. 60. You guys do not need to write this. 360 divided by 4. 540 divided by 5.
108.
108, okay. 720 divided by 6. 20. 900 divided by 7. Probably going to be a decimal. 128.57?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are all exact, right? This one is just rounded a little bit. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is called exterior angles. So you might think if this is interior, this is exterior. I agree with you. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Interior, exterior. Not exactly the way it works in math. In math, an exterior angle is take either side and extend it. That's the exterior angle. Over here, here. You can pick any angle. I'm just going from the one that I drew. So I could go down and draw it this way. Or I could go from this one. You're going to do the same thing either way. Okay, so if it says exterior angle, that's what it's talking about. Just extend one side. All right, I need somebody else I haven't called on. I haven't called on Abby yet today. Abby, got a calculator? Mm-hmm. Great. If this is a straight line, that means 180 degrees, right? Yeah. 180 minus 60 to get me this guy. 180 minus 90. 180 minus 108. Keep going. 180 minus 120.
60.
And another one with a decimal. 180 minus 128.57.
51.49.
Thank you. Okay. So we know what exterior angles are. Let's find the sum of the exteriors. This is for everybody. Grab your calculator, please, everybody. If this exterior is 120, and I want all 3 of them, 120 times 3, let me know what you get. Tyler, 120 times 3, yep. So the sum, the exterior is 360. All right, this one is going to have 4 of these. So everybody type 90 times 4. Tyler? Those are the same. Corbin, 72 times 5.
360.
One more, Corbin. 60 times 6.
360.
Now this one's a decimal. Let's see what happens with this. So Corbin, 51.53 times, there's going to be 7 of those.
360.7.
Thank you. Now we had a pattern going. Do you guys see how this kind of messed up our pattern? A little bit. It's not really messed up because why? Didn't we round this number? Right? Which means this number is rounded, which means this number is rounded and not exact. Yeah. So you can kind of ignore this number. It's not exactly that decimal because this was rounded, which rounded this, which changed this. It will be 360, just like all of those. And if I did the bottom row, which would take way too much time, you would find that the sum of all the exteriors, no matter how many sides it has, 360. Does this make sense? Do you have to draw it? No, you just know based off of this pattern that I'm showing you, it will always happen. Flip back to the front, grab your pencil. Let's start making our list. The sum of the exterior angles. 360, 360, 360. You don't have to write it every time. You can draw an arrow. It's always going to be 360. Julia Kalin, I passed out a gold extra credit paper yesterday. It's due Friday. If you want to do it, it's in the bucket. The folder thing over there. I believe we're done with this page, so this will be the last time you'll probably have to flip. We can fill in another formula. The sum of exterior angles, there's no variables there. It's always 360. Last formula. 1 exterior, not the sum, but if I want 1, ding, 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 and it's regular. See if I still have that picture. I don't. Any ideas on how I could find, if I know all 9 of these exterior angles, hopefully I drew 9 of them, add to 360, how could I find one of them?
Divided by 9.
Yeah, divided by 9. Will it always be divide by 9? No, divide by n for a formula. The number of sides. Very good. This is technically our lesson for today. If I stopped here, you would be able to do the homework. But we're going to do as many examples as we can get through in the remaining time. So let's get started. We're not going to do all the examples. We'll just do the first one here. Example 1. And don't look back at your table because you won't have the table for a quiz or test. So that won't do you any good. Let's read the directions. Find the sum of the interior angles of the following convex polygon. Underline sum and interior. Which formula deals with sum of interiors? Right here, copy this formula down. Julia, octagon has how many sides? 8. So instead of n, I plug in 8. So 1080. The directions are really important. They tell you which formula to pick in this case. I want to talk real quick about this word convex. You can somewhat ignore it because we're not dealing with concave. So this is a convex polygon. This is a concave polygon because it has a cave or it goes in. We are not studying concave. Everything we do will be convex. So if you see the word, you can kind of ignore it. They're just being more specific about the shape. Okay, read the directions for number 2, and we'll do 2C. We'll do 2A. Determine the number of sides of a convex polygon if the sum of the interior angles is blank. Again, same formula. Sum is either sum or 1. I want all of them summed up. And interior. Adrian, where do I go from here now that I have the formula? Plug what in? 1260? We're doing 2A. Put it in for N? No, that is the sum. We don't know N. You could distribute the 180. I would, because it's being multiplied. I would just divide by 180 to get rid of it. Your choice. Add 2. 9 is your final answer. So I use the formula. They either tell me n, I plug in the number of sides, or they tell me the sum of the angles, and I plug that number in. Questions on the first 2? Yeah.
Would you need to word for question?
I would say no, you wouldn't have to. Okay, let's look at 3. 3B we're gonna do. Skip 3A. Directions, very important. Here we go. Find the measure of an interior angle. It doesn't say sum, it says and or 1. Find the measure of an interior angle, and we have to do more work, and they want us to find an exterior angle of the ding, 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 regular. That's important. And that's good. Means I can use the formula. Formulas are very clearly listed right here. 1 interior of a regular polygon, 1 exterior of a regular polygon. I accidentally erased mine. So pick one formula at a time and find 1 interior, then 1 exterior. Take your time. Is it wrong if I get a decimal? No, some of you guys have this myth about math that if you get a decimal, it's wrong. Will we have to memorize the formulas for a quiz? Yes, but they kind of go with each other because these bottom two are just the top ones divided by n. 360 is pretty easy to remember. So really it's in my train of thought, just kind of one formula, n minus 2 times 180. Questions on this bottom one? Okay, we have just enough time to do one of each on the back. Let's do 4C. There's no directions to say, hey, here's the information. This is the formula to pick. Let's just think through it. 4C, find angle K and angle L. I would say K is one interior angle. Can I use this formula for this problem? No, very good. Because not regular, is that what you were thinking? Yeah. That formula only works if it's regular. Is there still a way I can find angle K? Yeah. I might want to find the sum. So I might do, there's 5 sides. So 5 minus 2 times 180. You get 540. I would write the sum in the middle. I will not divide by 5. They're not the same, but they all add up, in this case, to 540. Savannah, what are they trying to tell me here with these markings? They're the same. Yep. So if this is X, we are allowed to call that X also. Let's add all 5 up to 540. Go ahead and do your algebra on your own. We should not have x squared because we're not multiplying. X plus x is 2x.
What if you just, like, look before I did this, I just added all of these?
Yep.
And then divided it by 2.
Yeah, 540 minus the number divided by 2.
So if I do that, can I show that work?
That's fine. Yep, you're doing pretty much the same thing we're working through, so yep. Questions on that one? Do A and B look pretty doable? Look about the same. Find the sum. This one's going to have a sum of 360 because there's 4. This one has 5 sides, so add them all up to 540, and that A add them up to 360. Last one. Let's do 5B. We're now talking about exteriors. You can tell by the picture. We know that all exterior angles are going to add to what number? 360. So I'm going to add every exterior up to 360, no matter how many sides it has. Your homework is in your packet. It's sort of 2 pages because it's not front to back. There might be 1 or 2 hard ones. Please don't skip them because I can't give you a 10 if you leave it blank. Try really hard, get a couple steps in, and then if you have to quit after doing a couple steps, you can probably still get a 10. Let me know if you want to pass for advisory to work on that quiz.